Sagittarius, I'm here to give you some messages from Spirit where we see what's coming towards you on your path and how you can best greet it in a way that's both empowering and aligns you with your purpose. We're going to dive right into this. This is for any significant Sagittarius placements: Sagittarius Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, North Node, Mercury, Mars, Saturn, Pluto. Or if you have a prominent ninth house placement, or are Gemini rising, which makes you a Sagittarius descendant. So let's see what Spirit has for you. Spirit, what does Sagittarius need to know at this time, Spirit? What does Sagittarius need to know at this time, Spirit? What does Sagittarius need to know at this time, Spirit? We're going to get a baseline energy here and check it out. Shakti pot of seahorse. So look at you, fully in your energy. You're definitely whipping something up. I got that. You're starting to move some stagnant energy, and it's moving you forward in a very empowering way. I think you just got out of somewhat of a destructive cycle. And when I say that, I mean that you were in the process of unraveling some things, unraveling some old beliefs, unraveling some old connections, unraveling some old ties that had bound you up. And I think you're feeling a new sense of freedom and also inspiration that's sort of leading the charge to carry you forward. All right, let's see what's coming in towards you. I think you're definitely stepping into your power and you're entering a creative cycle. So now you're getting to the other side of the release energy and you're starting to call in the new direction. Let's see what that looks like. Big, bold vision. I can't make it up. You definitely have something that has inspired you to move forward. And with the B energy here, I feel like you're very much in the process of entering into a stage of productivity. I also think you're going to be networking and forming some very important connections in regard to this. And in some way, this gives you a voice. And it's interesting, I'm noticing the scarab energy over the throat there. This makes me think that this purpose that you have that's being awakened in you, not only does it have something to do with bringing your voice forward, but it's also something that will be left behind. It's something that leaves a mark, okay? You'll be remembered for this. It's very big, very bold, and very brave. I feel like you're really stepping into your power with this thing. All right, I'm excited to see, Sagittarius. What are you up to? This looks pretty darn good just to kick it off. I like the energy. You got a momentum going here, and this is nice to see. Oh, yes, you closed a very important karmic cycle with karma of Kutuhala. Okay, so this is you in that Phoenix rising energy. You are rising up from the ashes. You may have burned some bridges along the way, but you know that these were things that you had to release. I also feel that there's some behaviors that you have dropped too, some habits, things that, just were holding you back, maybe taking the easy way out or just sort of, just sort of settling for a while. I don't know. I got settling. Like, I think you reached a point where you really realized, like, I can't settle anymore. I need to reach for something more. I'm worth it. I'm worth it. You finally have tapped into something that made you feel like you wanted to get up again. Interesting. Maybe for a while you weren't feeling very enthused about life, or you just felt like, what's the point? You needed something to come and sort of like shake and stir you up. Something has. It looks like it's causing you to move into action. So let's see what is coming in for you, Sagittarius. What does Spirit need Sagittarius to know at this time? Expand on this momentum for Sagittarius and illuminate what's coming in here. Ooh, you're definitely on the upswing. Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay. There's some things on the ground here. Ooh. Okay. I don't think you see this yet. I think it's something that maybe you sense. It's something that you're envisioning. It's something you may have felt coming into your sphere on an energetic level. Maybe even in your dream world, or at times when you drop in with nature, you can kind of feel the pulse of this building. I think you're getting in touch with a whole different side of you. There's something here that's awakening in you. You may be in this world, but you are not of the world. Okay. So I think you're feeling a new sense of connection with your soul. And sometimes this may have you sort of like swimming upstream, you know. It may have been difficult at times to enter into this new flow. I feel like there's some things that have been shifting within you on an energetic level, and it's been a little bit to adjust to. But as you start to like dip into this and just let the current carry you, I think you're really finding this like new sense of freedom and it's awakening you. Now, you may not be totally aware of this yet. It did land on the ground. Okay, so this might be something that is around the bend. You can't quite see it yet, but it'll prove to be foundational in moving you forward. And you might start to have this awakening on some kind of trip or when you're at a particular spot in nature, maybe when you're fishing or you're camping somewhere where you're by a river. I feel this very strongly. And it's interesting because we have beatitude of sacred rapture here. So I do believe that there is somebody who is your muse. There's somebody that you are drawn to. And maybe you feel this energetically, you feel this person coming into your sphere. You might have even been calling this person in a little bit. You might be drawing to you the person that you are meant to align with. You might just have a sense that I'm supposed to come together with somebody. Maybe you don't even know who that somebody is, but you just feel this like soul tug. That's what I got. It's almost like that soul recognition thing where you're picking up an energy and you know that frequency matches yours. It says, relax the hold of darkness and be at cause. Look at this right here. So yes, I do believe that, you know, there's something here that is awakening in you. And it's through something that was cut away in your life. You notice that they are standing on top of a tree stump here. So I do feel like there was something that was really a fixture in your life that you released, you let it go. And you are in this process of the in-between place. That's what I feel. It's like you're in the waiting room right now. Okay. You might feel like you have a soulmate coming in for you or somebody important that's going to play an essential role on your path. You may not even know who this person is. I saw 8:08 on the clock. So definitely this is the energy of you're on the right track. Like what you're picking up, what you're intuiting, you are absolutely right about this. For some of you, it could be a particular person that you feel a really deep connection with, and you know that it's like the story's got to continue. It's not just that, you know? Maybe you feel like something got cut short. Maybe it felt like something was going to grow more or there was going to be more rooting to it. And it sort of was like timber, you know, this thing got cut away and it sort of like confused you a little bit. Okay. There's something here that like maybe made you feel like a certain disconnect. You might have felt like you were in the dark about that for a while. This may have been an outright disconnect. Maybe you tried to reach out and call somebody, get in touch with somebody. You found out their number was disconnected, or there was just some abrupt cutting off of the energy of what you thought was, you know, really solid and was going to become more rooted and grow into something. Okay. But I feel like there's just an inner knowing in you that there's continuation here. There's something more. It's not it. Okay. It's not it. And in fact, maybe this needed to happen in order for there to be a certain like energy realignment for you to really be able to step into what this connection will offer and the growth it's going to bring. And right now, I feel like you're just getting aligned with that light building force in your life. You may have even been spending some time in the woods, maybe even spending time with a particular tree and just really getting grounded and centered and allowing yourself to do some real heavy releasing of the old cycle. I definitely feel like you're getting in touch with your soul, with your spirit. Nature spirits might be very forward for you. These little lights remind me of fairy lights. So maybe you've been exploring the fairy path or you feel very close to the fae. Maybe you're really drawn to the magical, the mystical, and there's something about this that's really calling you forward. But I don't think it'll be long. It's interesting here because see, like though this stump here looks like, you know, the tree has fallen away, it's almost like there's still this light of the trunk that exists. So I think you know that there's a continuation. It's more that whatever was going on in that connection, something had to get rebalanced. So the frequency would match. That's what I get. It's almost like one of the people in this situation needed to do something to release something that was almost creating a disconnect or a disruption in the connection. Okay. There might have needed to be some time away to get a little perspective, a little space. But during this time, something's coming into alignment in a way that will support new growth moving forward. Okay, let's check it out. Let's see what else wants to come in here around this. What's on the bottom of the deck here? Yeah, I mean, you may have dealt with some fear around this. We have graveyard, unnecessary fear. Okay. It could have been the opportunity to connect with this individual or to have growth in this connection was arrived at a little prematurely. You know, somebody may have jumped the gun in this situation. And because of that, it just was a matter of timing. And the timing was off that didn't facilitate the growth. And in fact, there might have been a lot of like old fears or subconscious fears that sort of surfaced and it created a disconnect. That's what I feel. Okay. So something got uprooted, unearthed here, you know. But I see it's an unnecessary fear. So maybe you found a similarity in this situation or in this connection that just reminded you of something you've been through in the past. So it's sort of like it pinged a trauma loop, but this isn't that. You know what I'm saying? It's like this is more like a smoke and mirrors thing that been holding you back from fully stepping into this. You might have even felt like you missed the boat on this, or you missed an opportunity and you were held back by fear. And now you're starting to realize, you know what? I might have made that out to be a lot more than it actually was. And you might, on one level, feel like you missed your chance, but I don't think so. You know, I think you might have been hard on yourself about it for a bit. Like, why did I do that? You know, why did I hold myself back from heading in that direction? 1313 on the clock, right? So at first, you know, you might have felt like it was something that was almost like unfortunate or a bad turn of luck, but I feel like it's actually something that steps you into your empowerment. You had to go through that experience so you could see what you couldn't see before. Okay, so let's see what's coming in now. And it does say relax the hold of the darkness. Okay, you don't need to continue to hold the darkness. You're supposed to be at cause, which means you need to merge with the light-giving element. It's the light that is the life-giving force and that births new beginnings. Okay, so focus more on how you want to use your creativity. What have you learned during that time that can help guide you forward? All right, we do have these three cards. Oh, four cards coming in here. There's so much coming through your cards about releasing the darkness. And again, we have this fish imagery. This is salmon imagery. Salmons swim upstream, right? They swim upstream to spawn. They have to swim against the current. You know, it's arduous. It takes endurance. It takes fortitude. It takes focus. And I feel like that's what held you back for a while is you were holding on to some wounding from the past. It says, release the dark wound, let love live. I think, you know, sort of like catch and release. You might have had to sort of like catch your fear by the tail there for a minute and wrestle with it a bit. But I think you're just at this point where you're ready to let go of fear and dive back in and go for the swim. And it's interesting here. Oh, this is so beautiful. Look at this. You definitely have something here that's emerged. I think you went into the center of the wound. We have the sacred scar right in the heart here. Isn't it interesting? It looks like a birthing portal there. So as you went into the center of the wound, I don't feel like you pushed away the pain. I don't feel like you pushed away the darkness, you know, what you couldn't see, what you didn't understand. I feel almost like you dived right into the center of it. And maybe that's something you hadn't really done before, but it was through directly encountering this pain and letting yourself really be immersed in it, not pushing it away. You might have felt like, I can't move forward toward this until I really hold space to heal this, because you might have recognized that there was some shadow aspect of yours that was still lingering, that was actually holding you back from fully embracing this opportunity or stepping into this connection, this partnership, right? But I feel like you're ready now. Look at the openness in the heart. I think you're ready to let this in. And there's also something very sweet here with the deer of Delta. So this is about remembering to be very gentle, remembering to be very compassionate with yourself. And I think that compassion is mutual. And for some of you, this might be some healing work that you're doing around the mother, or that you might be doing with your child. Some of what you may have been healing might have had something to do with your childhood, or maybe certain patterns of behavior that you had taken on from the mother, about what it means to love, what love relationships look like. You might have been mirroring your mother a little bit. In some cases, you have a really deep connection to your mother, and maybe your mother wasn't necessarily approving of a particular direction. And so you sort of deferred to her. You might have even been doing some healing work around your mother in regard to this, or in some cases, it's around a child and your relationship with that child. I feel like these themes are playing out here, but I think that there's a certain gentleness that's starting to come forward, and you're starting to have a lot more compassion for yourself and also for the other in this situation. And it's awakening something in you with Alabaster Tablet of Layla. All right. So, yes, now you're starting to really get the vision. You're starting to tap into your own guidance, your own spiritual guidance. So, in that case, if you had a mother that was sort of against a direction you wanted to head in, or maybe didn't want you to partner with a certain person, or was doubting what your heart was telling you, was trying to guide you in another direction, maybe trying to convince you to be more logical, or not sort of go with the passion, but think more about what would be stable, what would be solid. And yet there was something within you that wanted to birth something new. I think that there's been a resolving of that, and you're starting to trust your own discernment. You're starting to trust your own guidance. You're starting to trust your own soul's directive in this regard. All right. Anything else that wants to come in here? And then we'll look at your final card. Overarching theme. I know you're about to move ahead. I think that opening is coming soon. Okay, it won't be long now. It looks like you're just about to move into it. Okay. Oh, and here's the Pathfinder landed right on top of these two tarot decks. So I'll take the top card there. Yes, Alpha of Alcyon. Here you are. I think you're ready. You know, you feel the winds of change blowing. You know, this thing is about to circle back around again. There is sort of a process with this where you feel like, you know, you're kind of just like traveling the same loops, but this time you want to travel the higher rung of the spiral. Maybe you're used to the downward spiral, and now you want to move more into the upliftment of the experience. And that's where you're focused. That's where you're gazing. You're ready to step into your destiny. Maybe you had to deal with something where you sort of got dealt a raw hand of fate, and you had to do a little transformational work with that. You know, sometimes we get handed a really rough hand, but I think you learned how to play it well, and you understand the value of it. There's some growth that occurred here that allowed you to really close an old karmic loop, and now you're breaking free of that. So you do have that opportunity to rise up into the destiny, and that's beautiful. So what are these two cards? Chariot. Okay, you got the Chariot moving you forward, and this is a very strong action that you are going to take. It's based on your truth. It's what you know is true for you, And I see you actually taking this action really soon. It could be towards a mother, okay? It could be toward a Cancer. This could have been, again, you know, somebody that was sort of creating some disruption in moving this thing forward. You could be dealing with another fire sign like yourself or an air sign, okay? So Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. You could also be dealing with a fellow Sag or an Aries or a Leo. Cancer in the mix as well, but I feel like there was kind of like this, you know, moving in opposition. There was some disruption, and there might have been somebody who had too much control in the situation. Could have been a mother figure, could have been a Cancer, you know, somebody who was really kind of like running the show here. And this was causing almost this division between two that were meant to work together to move something forward. But there's something here happening that is going to restore what is true, that's in alignment with your truth. I believe there's communication coming in, and this is going to happen before the end of March, right? So this is pretty imminent. It's coming up here with the Ace of Swords. So let's see what your card was for your overarching theme. Listening for truth, okay? So again, I feel like this is about self-validation. There might have been somebody that you really turned to in the past to sort of get the okay from, like, what do you think about this? And it's almost like valuing somebody else's truth more than your own. I think you have a lot of respect for this person, and I think they play a very important role in your life. But there's something here, 22 on the clock, where you know you're supposed to come into alignment with something, and it's a building block for your future. And this is about you silencing, you know, the noise from the peanut gallery, 2211, so you can come into alignment with what you know is true for you. And very soon here, the star crossed will be stars that collide.